This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so we are in Sefaria 4:48. Okay, and that's what we're picking up. And we left off that a person who's in a position to have the blessing of one who is supporting others. So there are three mistakes that that person might fall into. Number one, we said, is that the person is going to use illicit means to gain what they feel they need to support so many. And that is just unfortunate and foolish, because Hashem would send it through proper means if they wouldn't jump to illicit means. Secondly, a person might think that it's all for me, right? This great abundance that I have, it's all for me. And thirdly, if the person does distribute it to others, the person thinks that they owe me. I deserve the thanks. I deserve their gratitude. I deserve their praises, their accolades. Ciner's amazing. Look what he does. And if I don't hear enough of that, then it gets under my skin, right? And that is that I'm taking credit when I'm a bank teller, right? Imagine you go to the bank to withdraw cash. I think people still might do that once in a while. I don't know. I haven't been to the bank in a long time. I haven't seen cash. I haven't seen cash in a long time. When I'm at the grocery store and someone starts to pay with cash and starts taking out change in their pocket, I said, really? People still deal with exact change? Or if you get change, what are you going to do with it? Unless you're Jewish and you have a pushka, what else do you do with change besides putting it into a pushka? I don't know. It's a funny world out there, right? But imagine you go to the bank to get some cash, and the person says, "That's a lot. You sure you need this much?" You owe me a big thank you. I'm giving you $1,000 in cash, right? What do you mean? You big? First, I'll say thank you, but it's not your money. It's just you're just passing me my money, right? So those are the three mistakes that we discussed last week that a person might make when they are blessed to be in a position that they are helping others. V'hamaskil, but a person who is wise in their perspective, noheg b'shloshet hapanim, will act. There we go, Robin. We see you now. Do you hear us now? Okay. Wow, what a beautiful background. Yeah. Noheg. Noeg b'shloshet hapanim.
He said thank you.
Oh, sorry?
He said thank you when you said beautiful background because he was still in it. So he said thank you.
Well, he just faded into the mountains somehow. I don't know how he did
Yeah,
that.
he did.
That was magical. Okay, so a person who's wise deals with these three aspects al derech hanichona, in a proper fashion, right? Litorato ula olamo, right? And that way he is fulfilling his obligations when it comes to the Torah way of viewing this, ula olamo, and the world way of getting along in the world. Ubitchono, b'ma sheyesh biyad elokim mitarfo v'kinyano, yoter chazak mibitchono b'ma sheyesh biyado mehem. Wow. And he has greater confidence in that which Hashem will supply to him. He has greater confidence in that than that which he already has in the bank. Because that which he knows Hashem will give. He's good for it. He's good for it. That which we have, we never know how long we will have it for. Imuteref mazin, oteref kinyan. Right? Whether this is whether this is the teref mazon, that this is God giving him his sustenance, or God giving that person one's acquisitions. The yagia, and when a person does have this proper approach, yagia lichvod ha'olam hazeh, that way a person will receive honor in this world, ve'el hagmul hatov olam haba, and also the good compensation in the world to come, as it says in Psalms Tehillim 112, Kuf Yud Beis, Hallelujah, Ashrei Ish, Yareat Hashem. Right? Fortunate is a person who fears Hashem, his needs are taken care of, and that person has it good in this world and in the next world. It reminds me of that story. Aaron, I forget his last name. He was a Jew who had this massive factory. There was this tremendous fire and everything got destroyed. And he continued to pay. And he was like one of the main employers in this town somewhere in Pennsylvania. And he continued to pay. He could have taken all of his insurance money, closed it down, and moved on in life in a very, very wealthy manner. But instead, he kept paying the salaries to all of his employees, and he looked to rebuild the business. And in the end, he wasn't able to. Right? Financially, it didn't work. But he put every bit of effort into it. Right? And in the end, he could have walked away with tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars, and he didn't. And he always said he has no regrets. He has no regrets. He did the right thing. All these families had been relying on him, and he did the right thing. He understood that he was a conduit for this parnasa to go to them, and was not going to pad his own pockets. You guys remember that story? I'll find it. There actually there was a really nice video made about it. I'll find it on Bli Neder, and I'll share it on our chat next time around. Okay. V'yesh mibnei adam kitot. There are certain people, there are certain groups, she'enam mishtadlim liknot hamamon laharbot mamono. They don't want to acquire all of these assets and become wealthy for the sake of the money. Ela la'ahavat hakavod mibnei adam. But they want to have the honor from people, right? So they think, if I'll be wealthy, then I will get that covered. I will get that honor. V'lasot lehem shame, that they'll have a name. Their name will be known, right? They'll have that honor. Ve'ein maspik lahem mamono shum davar. And therefore, no matter how much they have, it's never enough. They always need to have more and more and more and more and more. V'zeh sichlut mehem. And this is, this foolishness of theirs, is b'sibat hakavod ba'olam hazeh u'ba'olam haba. Because they're foolishly misunderstanding what actually causes a person to have kavod, honor, in this world and in the next world. Vagorem l'ta'utam zu hu. And what causes them to make this mistake? Mashahim roim, what they see and what they misperceive. Shamon ha'am mechabdim et ha'ashirim. They see people give honor to those who are wealthy. So they think, I also want that honor. So I need to become wealthy, fabulously wealthy, in order to get that honor. Ach lamito shel davar, but in truth, ein lilmod mizeh, sha'ashirim amnam ru'uyim lekavod. They should not, they're drawing the wrong conclusions. They should not learn from this that, oh, if you're wealthy, then you are deserving of honor. Shaharei, ma shahamon ha'am mechabdim et ha'ashirim, that people, the general populace, the townsfolk, the reason they give honor to the wealthy person, because they think, if I'll give this person honor, then I'll have an in, and maybe I'll get a piece. I'll get a piece of the action. I'll get some of that wealth. So they're not honoring that person because they think that person deserves honor. They're honoring that person so hopefully they can get some of what that person has. V'choshvim limshoch. I'm sorry. Uchvodam lahem l'tikvatam ma sheyesh etzlam. The reason that giving the honor. Just 1 second. I was reading the wrong place. My apologies. Because a person sees that the townsfolk, the Amei Aretz, are giving honor to those who have the wealth. Ukvodam lahem l'tikvatam ma sheyesh etzlam limshoch me'asher v'yadam. But the only reason they're giving honor is because they're hoping to, like I said, to pull from what they have to me, to get a piece of the action. V'ilu heskilu havinu. If they would be wise, they would realize ki ein b'yicholatam v'lo b'kocham lo latet v'lo limnoa elo mi shegazer lo habore etzlam. But the foolish mistake that they're making is that they're not going to get any more or any less than that which Hashem wants them to get. And their flattery and their trying to get close to, and they're giving honor to these wealthy people is not going to help at all. If they would realize that this person has no ability to give or to hold back, all the person you give is that which God has decreed you should get, and it's not going to come because of that person. If they would realize that lo hayu mikavim l'zulato, then they would not be trying, right, to get in the good graces of this other person. V'lo haya roi etzlam kavod, and rather they would recognize to whom should they be honoring. They should be giving their honor to those who are unique, who are special in their utilizing ma'alot meshubachot, these praiseworthy qualities, characteristics. That is whom they should be honoring. Ra'ui ba'avuran lichvod habore yitala. And such a person is deserving of the honor from God. Kamoshi Katuv, like the Pasuk says, Ki mechabdai achadeid. Hashem says, those who honor me, achadeid, to them I will extend honor. They will be honored. Umipnei shesachlu amei haaretz bichvoda bikavdam bali mamon b'sibot hakavod, and because these people are acting foolishly when it comes to their honoring those who are wealthy, so because of their foolishness when it comes to their attempt to get kavod, honor, hosif lamabore sichlut b'sibot pikshotam. So again, as we started, so those who are trying to amass wealth because of their foolish miscalculation that wealth will bring them real honor, so that leads them to another foolish mistake. Hosif lahem abore sichlut b'sibot bakashotam. So their means of getting that wealth, they'll make another foolish mistake. V'naflu b'hishtadlut gedola v'yigia rabba kol yemehem. And they're going to stumble when it comes to the extraordinary amount of effort and time that they're going to be investing into trying to make themselves wealthy. V'hinichu ma shayu chayavim lishtadel bo ulamaher elav mehashlim chovot habore. And because of this overexertion on all of this, they're going to cast aside and not fulfill that which they're obligated to put their efforts into when it comes to the chovot habore, their obligations to the Creator. Asher aleim lodot, and they will not find the time or the headspace, the bandwidth to give thanks to God, al tovotav etzlam, for the good that God has given, because if I am so completely bent on getting more and more and more, I never have the time to sit back and appreciate that which I have already. Right? That's one of the beauties of Shabbos, right? That during the week we create. And I think Rabbi David Foreman compares it to an artist, right, who has the easel and keeps putting on more and more and more and more paint. Oh, more here and more over here and more over there and more over there, until eventually the whole easel collapses under the weight of all that paint. And there's a time that the artist needs to step back and say, oh, that's good. That's good the way it is. Let me leave it like that, right? And that's what Shabbos really affords us the opportunity to step back from all of our creativity and all that we're doing and producing and making and all that, and say, oh, let me hold, right? What I've got is pretty good, right? Sunday will come, Monday will come, right? There may be some further pursuits, but right now, let me make sure to take the time to appreciate. Asher aleim lohodot, that they don't recognize that they need to be taking the time to thank, to appreciate al tovotav etzlam, for all the good that they already have by them. V'tiyena bakshutam yoter krovot aleim b'derech hazeh b'li safek. And if they would do that, that's how they will better accomplish what they're trying to accomplish. They're trying to accomplish financial stability and honor. If they would take the time to put their efforts, to put the proper amount of effort into their livelihood, but to make sure to have the time and effort also to put into their chovot habore, their obligations to the Creator, and to having a profound sense of appreciation for what they have, that would bring them that which they are seeking will be closer to their grasp. That is how they will better accomplish that which they are trying to accomplish. If they'll go in this path, b'li safek, without any doubt, this is how they will better reach the goal that they're trying to reach. Like the pasuk says, Orech yamim biyamina, bismola osher v'chavod. Lengthy days in the right hand, and length of days does not just mean longevity here in this world, but it means in the world of longevity, right? In the world to come. And bismola in one's left hand is osher v'chavod, is osher wealth and kavod. Now we know that any lefties here, please forgive me, but when we talk about the right hand and the left hand, so we talk about the more effort going into the right, the greater strength being in the right than in the left. So what the pasuk is saying is when orech yamim, when longevity of days is biyamina, is in the right hand of a person, then what will come along with that? Bismola. Along with that will come the osher v'chavod. Along with that will come the wealth and the honor. So if one puts their efforts, we have to, as he's been saying all along, we have to, with honest, proper means, put our efforts into our livelihood. But when we don't overdo it, and we make sure that we have the time for the orech yamim biyamina, that our right hand, our main effort is going towards our eternity, then bismola, the left hand, will also have that osher v'chavod, that wealth and that honor. V'amar, and it says, v'osher v'kavod milafanecha. Before you, God, ultimately is all of the osher and all of the kavod. All of the wealth, all of the honor is in your hands. It's before you. And through unscrupulous means, that's not the way that a person will get it. Certainly not in a manner that will be beneficial for that person in the short run and in the long run. V'yesh shimatzei bichlal mevakshei hamamon mishiyagia mimenu el tachlit tavato b'derech hasibot asher zacharnu. Amongst those, there are those who are seeking wealth, assets, and when the person succeeds in getting that, b'derech hasibot, through one of these different means that we have mentioned, umehem mishiyagia la b'derech hayirusha adoma lezeh, or a person might get a good amount of wealth via a Yerusha, an inheritance the person gets. The Yachshov, and then the person mistakenly thinks, Ki hasibot chayvu lo etzeh. Oh, what actually brought me that wealth? Oh, it was because of the inheritance, I'm wealthy. Because of this business that I chose, I'm wealthy. Because of this investment that I chose. Because I put all the money into Bitcoin. That's why I'm wealthy. A person could look at the means and mistakenly think that that is the actual cause. Vilulei hein, mistakenly thinking, were it not for them, lo haya magir elav mimenu klum, I would not have gotten anything at all. Umishabeach hasiba mibiladei hamisavev, and beautifully said, they praise that which was sent. They praise the medium through which it came, without thanking the misavev, the one who sent it. Right? You get a big check in the mail, and you just can't stop thanking the mailman. Oh, I can't tell you how much I love you, what you've done for me. I can't tell you, right? Right? Thank you for delivering it, but see who sent you the money. Right? That's where the praise and the thanks and the gratitude and acknowledgement needs to go. And people mistakenly focus on the mailman and not on the sender. They focus on the means through which Hashem sent them this bounty without focusing on Hashem, who's the one who sent them this bounty. The Kamal Doma Bazet, and he compares this la'adam shehu b'midbar, a person who is stranded out in the desert. Hichbid alav hatzamei, and the person is getting thirstier and thirstier as he's wandering through the desert. Umatzam mayim, and then he finds some water. She'ena metukim b'borachad, he finds this well and has some water in there, but the water is a bit stagnant. Right? It's not such good water. But hey, right, in the desert, right, he's not going to be so choosy. V'samach b'hem simcha gedola, and he is exuberant. He is so happy that he's found this water. V'ravah mehem, and he sates his thirst quenches his thirst by drinking this water that was not so clean and didn't smell so great. Kasher halach ma'at, when he went a little further, matza mayan novea mayim mitukim. Then he comes across a wellspring a fountain that is giving forth this clear, cool, sweet, delicious water. V'da'ag al ma shekadam mishtato hamayim harishonim v'rav somehem. At this point, though, he can hardly drink anymore. And he is worried, why did I drink so much at that first place? Look at this incredible water that's coming out over here. V'chein bal hamammon. That's how we can compare this person. Sheigia elav bisiba yedua. That his money came to him through a certain means, and it might not have been the most upright means that it came to him. Ilu haita nimnat hasiba hahi mimenu. If he would have held himself back, he would have held back from that not most scrupulous means, then it would have come to him in another fashion, in a clear, clean fashion, as we said before. Kamo shenemar, ke'ein la'Hashem ma'atzor lo shia barov o b'ma'at. Nothing holds Hashem back from sending his deliverance, lo shia, whether it comes with a lot, whether it comes with a little. Hashem can always send what it is the person is supposed to receive, and therefore we shouldn't fall into grabbing the first thing that we can if it might not be so kosher, so scrupulous. Umima shera'ui liboteach al Elokim b'tarfo k'shiyitakev mimenu hateref yom min hayamim. Let's say I'm making my efforts and the parnasa is not coming. So how does a boteach, how does a person trusting in God, how does he deal with that? What the proper approach for a person who puts his trust in God for his sustenance. When that teref, that sustenance is not coming. Yom min hayamim, days, whatever it is. Sheyomar b'libo, the person needs to strengthen themselves and speak in their hearts and say, Ki asher hotziani el olam hazeh, the one who brought me out into this world, bizman yadua, at a certain time that I was born, ve'et yadua, and also during a certain time period. V'lo tziani elav lifneihem, and did not send me out to this world not earlier than this, v'lo la'achareim, nor later than this. So the one who decided exactly when I should come into this world, the one who's decided this is the time for each of us to enter this world, hu shema'ake mimeni bo tarfi le'et yodua v'yom yadua. He is the one who is, it's not random. There's a reason for it. He is the one who is holding back from me tarfi, this wage, whatever it is, le'et yadua v'yom yadua, for a specific period of time and days. Lidato mashuhu tov li. And he knows that which is best for me. Right? And this is a big foundation of the bitachon. I always like to say, just like a good parent at times says no to the child. And the child's upset. I can't believe it. I thought you loved me, right? But the parent is doing what they see as being best for the child. And sometimes the answer is no. And the same way that we understand that a child, a toddler, a 5-year-old, a 7, 8-year, 9-year-old, right, can't understand all of the considerations that we have to make to reach our decision, and they're not going to be able to understand it. right? So as I always like to say, the difference between the 5-year-old and us is nothing compared to the difference between our understanding and God's understanding. So when things don't go the way that we had hoped, so that's a time for us to say, all right, God, I believe in you. I trust you. You have my best interest in mind, and and you know best. You know best. V'chein kasher yiva'ohu tarfo mitzumtzam, or if a person is getting just what they need, it's really, really tight. Lo yoter al mozono mu'uma, there's nothing left at the end of the week, at the end of the month, right? Just what they need, just what they have. Roy lo lachshov v'libo v'lomar. Once again, the person should think in their heart and say, Asher heichen li mezoni b'shadei imi b'tchilas inyani. The one who prepared my sustenance at my mother's breast for the time that I was an infant. Kafit sarki, right? Exactly what I needed. Vidai kilkalti, and enough to sustain me. Yom yom, each and every day. Ad asher hamir oto li bitov mimeni, until he then switched me to more solid food, right? To the food that was then appropriate for me as I got bigger. Below hizikli ba'obet simtsumuma, and my getting exactly what I needed, but no more than that, was not harmful for me in any way at that stage. Kain lo yazik li bo hateref hazeh. So too, no harm will come to me with my sustenance now. Asher hetik oti elav ata b'tzimtzum kafit sarki, right? That he's giving me now, right? What I need, and no more than that. Ad tachlit yemei mu'uma, right? Even if the matter will extend for a period of time. The same way that I, as an infant, I was able to do quite well and grow quite well and live quite well, receiving just what I needed and no more. That's what's happening again with me now. V'yenischar al zeh. And if a person can have this focus and this trust, then a person is rewarded for that. As we find that the Borei, the Creator, said to our forefathers in the Midbar, where they received the exact amount of man they needed for that day, and there was no holding over, no saving for the next day. If you try to save for the next day, it would get all wormy and inedible. And that was the bitachon, the trust that we built up, that each day we were starting fresh. And Hashem delivered our needs. The manna, they would go out and gather divar yom biyomo, what they needed for that day on that day. And there was no pantry, there was no fridge, freezer, cupboards. That's it. By the end of the day, there was nothing left. And the next day, God delivered their sustenance. There are those that say this, called the Parshat Haman, the Torah reading, the Torah paragraphs about the manna falling. There are those that say that every morning to start their day, to instill in themselves this recognition that what they're receiving is God sending what He's sending. V'amar, it says, the Navi Yirmiyahu, Haloch v'karata baznei Yerushalayim leimor, right? Go and call out into the ears of Jerusalem, saying, Lechtech acharai b'midbar, right? The tremendous love I have for you, Chesed ne'urayich, the kindness of your youth, how you went after me into a desert, be'eretz lo zruah, into a land that was not planted. V'chein im yiva'o tarfo b'siba mibli siba, umakom li makom, or if one's sustenance comes through a means that I'm not so happy about, or a place that I'm not so happy about, through this person, and I wish it wasn't through this person. Yomar b'libo. Once again, a person should say into their heart, Asher yatzrani al tzurat v'tavnit tchuna midah, mibli sharat surot v'tchunot v'midot l'takanat inyani. The God who formed me with my shape, my form, my personality, right, as opposed to all the other possibilities. And he did this l'takanat inyani. He did that because that is what is best for me. Hu bacharli, he has chosen for me. Sheyavot tarfi al panim ha'mafikim leinani mibli sharpanim. That it will come to me through this manner, of all the manners. V'ashotziani olam hazeh b'makom yadua, and the one who brought me into this world in a set place, al yidei shnei anashim yiduim, through my two parents, mibli sha'ari she'olam, not as opposed to any of the other people on this planet. He is the one who has chosen that I should get my sustenance in this place. And through this person. Sam oto siba l'tarfi l'tovli. And therefore this means and this place and this person through whom it is coming to me, it is all being done latov li, that which is best for me. Kamosh Amar al-Kozoi, the Pasuk says, Tzaddik Hashem, we say this in our Ashrei, B'chol dirachav. God is righteous in all of his ways. At times we understand it, at times we don't understand it, but that's where the bitachon comes in. We actually have in this week's Parsha that Yaakov says to Rachel and Leah, it's been terrible here. Father has stolen. Father switched the payment, right? And God said to go, so we should go, right? And they answer, well, right? He's been terrible. God said to go, go. Now, why do I need he's been terrible? Why isn't God said to go, time to go? Why isn't that sufficient? And Rav Yaakov Weinberg at Salman Rosh Hashiva explained that, of course, God said to go, go. That is sufficient. But at times, a person, when we see how clearly God's direction is so clearly the best thing in the world for us, we need to focus on that. And that's what gives us the strength that when we don't see it as clearly, that in those situations also, we can recognize that whatever is coming our way is what Hashem wants us to be dealing with, and we move forward with that. Okay, my friends, I'm going to run to Davin Mariv. Where are we up to in Sefaria?
61.
61. Beautiful. Good. A good night, everybody. Good seeing you. Enjoy the beautiful mountains there, Robin. Amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Good night. Good night.
Bye, everybody.